2.4 is dropping tomorrow, and alongside 2.4, we're also getting Cartethiya and Flurdalise, one of the most anticipated characters in Wuthering Waves history, in Wuthering Waves to date. I've wanted Cartethiya and Flurdalise since I first saw Cartethiya at the end of 2.0, and when I first saw Flurdalise at the end of the 2.1 livestream. I'm pretty sure you all remember the reaction everyone had when they saw Flurdalise at the end of 2.1 and when they saw Cartethiya at the end of 2.0. And I want to know what she's capable of. Before summoning for this beautiful character, I want to know what she is capable of. So in order for us to do that, today, my fellow flames, we're reacting to Juice's video, breaking down everything we need to know about Cartethiya's kit and to see how powerful she truly is. Without further ado, let's get into this.
Cartethiya's kit details have been officially revealed.
Yes.
I have a few heads ups that I want to give.
Splendid.
My name is Juice, and let's get into it.
Let's go.
I'd like to start with the arrow erosion shenanigans.
Yes.
The very good news is that she's actually able to apply some herself within her own kit.
Oh, praise the Lord. Praise the goddamn Sentinel, shit, for this, because I thought I was going to have Aero Rover on my team or summon for Chiakona, but I'm so glad now that that is not the case, because apparently she can now apply her own Aero Erosion. This is a godsend. It's very good, actually. It's very, very good.
Her teammates aren't required in order to apply Aero
this is
Erosion
good.
base. That's very good.
It is.
It is very, very clear now that this is an Aero Erosion character that really wants to play in that negative status archetype.
Yes.
And I feel like her outro skill really highlights that. Something interesting.
What is it? Flurdalise to target with negative status effects amplify. Oh, okay.
Thing is that Aero Erosions are capable of dealing quite a good bit of damage on their own.
Okay.
So with this in mind, I expect a lot of Cartethiya's damage to not only come from herself, but also from Aero Erosion.
Okay.
So in that regard, you do kind of want Chiakona because of her 100%.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't want Chiakona. I don't want the Bard. I have no interest in the Bard. She's a cute character. Her story was amazing, but I do not want Chiakona, and I will not be summoning for Chiakona, even though she increases the Aero Erosion damage by 100% for half a minute. Oh, that's actually really good, but I'm not doing it. Nope. I'm guaranteed for a brand new unit, and my brand new unit is gonna be Flurdalise and Cartethiya. I've decided. I have spoken.
Aero Erosion amp, that is a lot of buffing to it.
Yes.
I expect that to be a major boost to the team's performance overall.
Yes.
We don't have anything in terms of Aero Erosion 4-star options, so I expect free-to-play options to not be too great upon her release, because we don't really have anyone else that's able to offer Aero Erosion amp. I suppose characters like Alto are able to offer Aero bonus on outro.
I mean, yeah, I could probably use Alto, but again, why would I use Alto? I don't care about the character. I don't care about Alto. I haven't cared about Alto since I saw him way back in 1.3, you know? And even then, I didn't give a shit about Alto. Aero damage amplified by 23% for 14 seconds is pretty good, but no.
And then you also just have very universal support such as Sanhua, but I don't think that there's going to be any specific 4-star that's really going to do a lot for her.
Okay.
Now granted, I do still think that she's going to end up being very powerful anyway.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have access to
This
her
is
premium
true.
options, because she's a Sentinel freaking Resonator, her power baseline is just expected to be very high.
Yeah, I mean, look at Jinshi, right? Jinshi's power was immeasurable. She changed the game for almost an entire year. I'd say from when Jinshi released up until when Carlotta released, Jinshi was the dominant force in Wuthering Waves. You've got Zhang Liao, obviously, but I don't give a shit about Zhang Liao, so I'm only referring to Jinshi's power. She was the best nuking damage dealer in the entire game, and then Carlotta came out, and then she just changed the game completely. 2.0's characters far exceeded and matched or far exceeded what Jinshi can do, you know? And Jinshi was very, very powerful for a very long time, and she still is very powerful now.
But it is undeniable that yes, I do think that Chiakona is easily going to be our best installed teammate. I assume the
We all
reason
knew that.
Zero made it so that Cartethiya could apply her own erosion was because
So
it
good.
accounted for the situation that not everybody would have the Bard, since Aero Rover isn't able to apply any himself. I mean, shoot, she's even able to amplify Aero Erosion damage by quite a significant margin. It's...
Oh, so she could just buff it anyway. Ugh.
Pretty darn clear what her entire gimmick is. I'd actually like to point out her inherent
I got
skill.
chills.
Targets
What's
of
that?
1 to 3 stacks of Aero Erosion take 30% more damage from Cartethiya and Flurdalise. That's a lot.
Oh.
So it's not even just Arrow Erosion's personal damage that's going to be contributing here. Cartethiya and Flurdalise themselves are going to benefit from erosion, as in their own arrow damage that they themselves deal, which is pretty insane.
Damn.
So it is very, very clear that you do want those stacks.
Yeah.
And that's not even accounting for the second half, where if you have 3 more stacks than that, then they take 10% more damage from Cartethiya and Flurdalise for each stack of erosion.
Jesus Christ, okay.
Times. So you can do up to 60% more damage in that regard.
Fucking hell. Excuse my French, excuse my profanity, but that is disgusting. Oh. Oh.
I'll say this.
And this is S0, right? This isn't even what her traits can do. This isn't even what, like, her unlockable traits can do. Oh.
It is definitely a good thing that they revealed her kit a couple days before Shakona's banner's over.
True.
If you have the Astrites to spare, I would pick up the Bard. It is very...
I can't pick up the Bard. I haven't got enough Astrites to spare. I haven't got enough. I have a guaranteed unit. I need Cartethiya.
Clear that she's definitely going to help out her performance a lot, but the real question is it going to be a situation like Phoebe and Zani, where the Goat Banker just feels significantly worse if you don't have the Acolyte? Well,
I'm sorry, but the Acolyte did buff my Zani a decent amount. My Zani is doing over 1 million over 1 to 1.5 million damage per ultimate, by the way. When she transforms, she has like almost 200,000 damage per ultimate hit when she swings her. Insane. Abs, she's definitely doing 1 mil. She's clearing 1 million damage easy.
Obviously, we're gonna have to wait for her full release to see how bad it is, because we need to test.
I mean, if I need it that badly, then obviously on the rerun, I'll go for Chiakona. But then we have another, like, Aero character by the looks of things. The new male character, Kwai Yuan, or whatever his name is. And he's Aero, so maybe he applies Aero Erosion. If he does, I'll summon for him, which will be actually a godsend, because then I can have Flurdalise, and I can have Kwai Yuan.
Test it out. Because while Zani without Phoebe is definitely gimped, it's not like you can't clear for free.
No, exactly, exactly.
It's something that you can do. And I fully expect free-to-play friendly Cartethiya to be able to clear. I will say, watch out for the tower buffs. They are definitely going to heavily show Cartethiya in general, so even if you don't have Shakona, she is going to feel much better than usual in TOA. The same thing.
Good, I haven't actually finished this season's TOA, so that'll be good, that's good.
Happened with Zani. Zani was clearing very easily regardless of whether she had Phoebe or not. It's very, very easy to shield negative status characters due to the conditions that they enjoy. So her realistic performance is probably not going to be as high as it is on her release. But I do still expect her baseline to be pretty high. I'll be surprised if it isn't, so you should be fine anyway. But I think that...
Can you imagine they gas up Cartethiya and Flurdalise to be like the Sentinel's Resonator and embody the power of both Threnodian and Sentinel? Then for her to release in such a terrible state that she's trash. Can you just imagine?
For basically any negative status character is you ideally want that negative status as best in slot support in order to make the best use out of the characters tied to that status. Now here's the thing. Kuro Games is obviously not going to release a unit that just doesn't function at a free-to-play level. She's obviously going to clear even if you don't have the Bard. So my advice, if you really, really want Cartethiya but you just don't want to pick up Shakona right now, all of your Astrites are saved for the Divine Maiden. Absolutely no of her Astrites will be going anywhere else.
Yep, that's me.
Pick her up and get Shakona on rerun.
Yes.
Because while you do ideally really want that Bard, Kuro doesn't take very long to rerun characters. Shoot, for the anniversary,
she'll be here in 2.5. She'll be rerun at 2.5. Next patch.
Every banner ever. And who remembers when Shang Li Yao was gone for only like a patch or two?
Yeah.
And then he
came back. Then he came back.
Because he fit pretty well with Yinlin's rerun. Kuro is pretty smart when it comes to banner scheduling. They're not going to keep her away for a very long time.
Nope.
I will say it's unfortunate that Shakona released.
Man, I love Flurdalise's design.
I would have released her maybe when Cantarella came out. That probably would have made more sense because then we could have had her rerun now. And Cantarella clearly released quite ahead of her time, but hey,
that's
this
okay.
is what we're dealing with.
I mean, realistically, Zani should have released before Cantarella. It should have been Zani for 2.2 and Cantarella for 2.3, but because of also the story, it kind of aligns with what their plan was with the story and with the overarching plot of 2.2. So, but yeah, I agree that if you think about from the time Zani was announced and the time Cantarella was announced, yeah, Cantarella was definitely released ahead of schedule or ahead of what we all thought.
So based on the current situation, if you want to play the most optimal Cartethiya, but you just can't get the Bard right now, don't worry about it. She is most definitely going to be fine until her rerun returns. I would recommend getting her in the long run, but on release, I highly doubt that you're going to need her. but I do expect it to be a significant performance loss, and I do expect it to feel worse. You have to remember, sure, free-to-play friendly Zani can clear, but is the gameplay feel actually good? Now, if it is to you, that's great. But I think most people who have played both free-to-play Zani and Phoebe Zani can agree that Phoebe Zani does feel better.
Phoebe Zani destroys the universe. She literally has the power of the legendary Super Saiyan of Legend. She literally is like end of Frieza Saga Super Saiyan. You know, she can kill Final Form Frieza.
But that's very subjective at the end of the day, and we're gonna have to wait until the character actually
releases
in order to discern stuff like that. So, is it going to be as bad as Phoebe and Zani? I do expect the difference to be as bad, and I do expect the gameplay feel difference to be as bad. But if the only thing you care about is clearing, which fair enough, you can get all endgame rewards, so who cares beyond that? Then I don't think that's going to be a problem.
There you go then.
But I would try and grab the Bard before she leaves based on this kit reveal.
No!
If you're somebody that cares about playing optimally. Then we've got to discuss her signature weapon. So,
I'm going for a weapon.
To be an HP scaler, because, well, her signature weapon scales on HP. So what does...
She's a HP scaler, so she needs absolute tanky health, like insane amount of health, like final boss level health. Okay. 72% health increase? Jesus, getting her crit stats up is gonna be tough.
What does this mean? First of all, on her release, don't panic, but all of her other weapon options are very likely to be bad, just straight up. Because this is a bit of a Brant Wuthering Waves situation. What I mean by that is that whenever a character...
If I don't get her weapon, I'll just give her Jinshi's weapon, it's fine.
With a brand new scaling releases, and there's not really any...
I give her Jinshi's weapon, it's fine.
The signature is always going to be better than all of her options.
Obviously, standard.
That's going to be the only weapon in the game that really accounts for that character's specific kit. Like in Brant's case, he was the first ER scaling DPS. We indeed had Overtur's an ER weapon, but that was a supportive Concerto weapon. Only his signature really helped him reach his absurdly high ER requirements and tailored to his kit wonderfully. And it's very difficult to reach...
It's fine, I'll give her Zani's weapon.
If you don't have his signature.
or Jinshi's.
To this day, Brant hasn't really received any other weapon options that are able to mitigate this. You're pretty much still stuck to using Emerald of Genesis or another weapon option while using him on the original Fusion set.
Okay.
Or if you really want to cope, then fine. Overtur does exist, I suppose. He remains as being the most signature-reliant character in Wuthering Waves. Cartethiya is going to be finding herself in a similar situation.
Brilliant.
She's a brand new unit that scales on a brand new type of scaling that we haven't previously seen before for a DPS character, meaning that every other weapon option is kinda gonna suck.
Brilliant.
Granted,
great.
You can still rely on good old reliables, such as crit sticks, and stakes that just generally provide useful stats. But
Brilliant.
The thing is, stats that are useful for every other DPS, such as attack, which most DPSing swords provide, those just aren't going to do anything for Cartethiya. Not to mention how gnarly the passive is.
The passive, a 3 Knights Tarantella. Max HP increased by 12, 15, 18, 21, 24%. Skill or basic attack ignores 8, 10. Oh, the ignoring defense is good.
Only does it provide you with more max HP, really pushing home all that HP scaling, but it straight up has Def Ignore. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. Just a broken signature weapon for what is most likely going to be a broken character. However, take a look at the rest of the passive. If a target has at least one stack of arrow erosion, the target's damage taken is amplified.
And since she applies her own arrow erosion, oh baby, this is gonna be sick. Oh, it is basically a must summon weapon.
Now granted, Cartethiya is able to apply her own stacks of arrow erosion, so that's fine. The Bard isn't required in order to utilize the signature weapon.
No.
But the point still stands that this is very, very specialized with a mega specialized scaling. I really hope that Kuro Games leans into making event weapons more. We got one for Camellia and we got one for Phoebe.
Yeah, event weapons would be great right about now. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Just never going to come for these characters that have very niche scalings. Now, the nice thing about our Blessed Maiden is that HP scaling is far less niche than ER scaling. We're probably not going to get any ER scaling damage dealing swords for a long time.
Good.
Because, well, did you hear the sentence I just said? That is a very, very niche.
It's very niche. We don't need that shit. Get him out.
Utilize that. So I feel like the next time that we're going to see...
That's why, as much as I like Brant as a character, he's trash.
For genuinely
trash. Trash.
Is going to be when another character like him comes out. And at that stage, are we just going to get another 5-star weapon option for him? Or are we actually going to get an event 4-star? Who knows?
Event 4 stars would be nice right about now.
She's HP scaling and a sword user. think that HP scaling is going to be a lot more common for damage dealers as
Oh,
opposed
yeah.
to ER scaling.
Yeah,
But
true.
I will say, prepare for most of her weapon options to not be very good on launch.
That's fine.
I do think that we'll most likely get more
Just
good
show
weapons
me.
over time, and it's much more likely
Show
that
me
we're
the
going to
cope
get
in
good
case I
weapons
don't get
first
it,
to break.
please.
But I would say that if you're somebody that's not going to
Show
be
it
able
to
to
me.
get the fires
Show
full
it to
on,
me.
any crit stick sword is most likely going to be our best bet. It's absolutely excellent to have all the juicy details in regards to Cartethiya's kit. I think she's
Yes.
most definitely going to end up being the best arrow erosion DPS in the game, and I do think that if you pull for Shakona, you're gonna be one happy camper. But I do still expect free-to-play Cartethiya to be good. I am expecting her high investment to do way better than her low investment, but I feel like that's just the general nature of negative status characters.
True,
I don't think that she's
true.
going to be bad per se as a free-to-play unit. It's really cool to have a fully fledged arrow erosion DPS. I think that's pretty cool. But here's hoping that we get some more free-to-play friendly gear for her down the line. It is going to be
True.
a little rough on launch, but I don't think that she's going to be bad by any means. If anything, saying that she's just not going to be bad by any means, that feels like a silly statement. She's a sentinel freaking resonator.
It's exactly.
Let's be real with ourselves.
Exactly.
She's probably going to break the game in two.
No, she is
But
going to
we'll
break
see
the
how
game.
it
No,
all
she
pans
is going to
out.
break the game.
Very exciting release for sure. How about yourself? Are you going to be pulling?
Yes.
What do you think of this kit reveal?
I
Let me
think
know
it was
down below.
good. I think it was a
I'd love
good-
to hear your thoughts.
That's good.
I also have a second channel if you'd like to subscribe to that. I just yap about whatever I feel like in regards to.
Splendid. I may subscribe to that then. Guys, go subscribe to Juice. I'll leave a link to the YouTube channel down below. Very good. It sounds like Cartethiya is going to be a broken resonator, but it does sound like you're also going to need her signature weapon as well, which is fine because I'm going to be going for the weapon anyway. I also, fun fact, also have enough to get a free copy because I have enough of the corals. So if her S1 is good enough, I'll get her S1 through the shop. So I can actually get S1 Cartethiya. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down below if you are summoning for Cartethiya or if you're waiting for Lupa, or maybe you're summoning for both. Until next time, my fellow flames, take it easy and have a good rest of your day.